Hello, 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 everyone. I'm your host, Miranda Fritz, and welcome back to Randa, the show about random, useless information you may or may not want to know. So, I'm going to be honest with you guys here. I may or may not have accidentally lied about my last episode. It definitely was not on purpose, but unfortunately, the theater thing kind of fell through this week. And then I had a friend that said that she could see if her sorority sisters could come on the show, and I had a really awesome game to play and for like a big group, but all of the plans kind of fell apart. So I'm going to talk about something else instead. Sorry if it's bad. I came up with it last night at 11 o'clock. That disaster next on Random Randa. Before I get to my useless, uninformative information, I would like to update you guys on what I've been up to this past week. It's a new segment I just made up called Weekly Review. It's very original, I know. So this last Saturday, me and some of my fellow communication gals attended the Veterans of America Salsa Night, held here on campus in the Cetus Conference Room. Let's go to Miranda now to see how the event went.
Oh, yes. Hi, Miranda. I'm Miranda. Thank you. We're here at the Salsa Night held by the Veterans of America. Thank you for joining me.
That's wonderful. Are you having a good time?
Food, yes. Yes, there's lots of food.
No, I said, are you having a good time?
Yes, I said there's lots of food. Yeah, we're here to me and a couple of the communication gals. Look at us. We're here to dance the night away. Of course, there's food, and the only thing that would make it better is if we had a little bit of alcohol. But unfortunately, this is at Cameron, so there's no alcohol. I guess I could have brought it in a flask, but one, I don't have pockets, and two, I don't own a flask. By the way, my birthday is coming up, Miranda. That would be a very good gift to give me. Anyways, I don't know why we're talking about this. I'm here to salsa. No, seriously, that guy over there is eating all the salsa. I gotta go. Back to you, Miranda.
Well, thank you, Miranda. That sounds like a great time. So for today's ramble, I decided to walk you through a day in the life of a perfectionist. I'm going to give you some first-hand testimony up in here because, yes, sadly, I am a chronic perfectionist. It's truly my cross to bear. For example, on my first episode, I literally spent 3 hours tediously cropping and replacing the graphics that are beside my face usually because they were slightly distorted, like just a little bit. Like, that's how crazy I am. I have a serious problem. But I like to say the first step to recovery is, as they say, the first step to recovery is admitting you have a problem. Speaking of they, who exactly is they and where did they come from? Like, are they our ancestors from a long, long time ago, or are they just the people who come up with the sayings that everyone ends up saying all the time? Like, when we get old and die, do we then become the they? I don't really know. I'm just saying. Think about it. Anyways, being a perfectionist is time-consuming and absolutely exhausting. Being a perfectionist can make me come across as slightly controlling and a little overbearing at times, which gives me the chance to step on lots of people's toes. But I just want everything to look good. Can you blame me? But then I feel really bad about it. I feel absolutely horrible about myself when I'm perfectioning. Literally, while I was cropping, moving, and pasting each graphic last week, and it was 9 o'clock at night on a Friday in a pitch dark academic commons, I was like, I hate myself, why do I have to be such a stupid perfectionist? I would rather do it myself than tell someone to do it, because I know that I'll do it, spend the time doing it, and do it the way I want. I catch myself doing and feeling like a crazy person all the time. It's absolutely horrible. Fun fact, I read online somewhere that perfectionist and procrastination go hand in hand. Just in case you were wondering, no, I don't remember the name of the source, and yes, I was too lazy to look it up. But I mean, they can't put anything on the internet that isn't true. But seriously, as a perfectionist myself, I can attest to all the times I've procrastinated in my lifetime. According to the article I don't remember the name of, perfectionists tend to procrastinate big projects or assignments until the very last minute because it's said that it is due to our insatiable desire for perfection. The daunting task of tackling this project is just too much for our little minds to handle. So in turn, we put it off until we can do so no longer. Now, I will say, I've done this my entire educational career. Almost all of my assignments have been pushed off to the very, very last minute every single time. And honestly, it works out pretty well for me. I think I've received 2 B's since the 5th grade, so it's not a bad process for me. Then again, I'm not saying that it works for everyone. I'm just saying that's what works for me. I've produced some of my best work under procrastination pressure, which, now that I think about it, doesn't really make a lot of sense because being a perfectionist and a procrastinator, because as a procrastinator, I don't usually have enough time to be a perfectionist, you know? Like if you're waiting all that time to do your work, then how can I really be a perfectionist? Anyways, therefore, my stuff is never as perfect as it would have been if I had started earlier. But I guess it's good to have a tight deadline because otherwise I would have spent a lot of time perfecting and changing my stuff that I would never think was perfect enough. Another downfall to perfectionism for me is that I'm terrible at taking criticism. Constructive or not, I cannot stand when someone critiques my work. Even on the procrastination assignments that I pulled out of my butt in the last hour, I see as a masterpiece that cannot, should not, and will not be altered. And then the teacher tells me to change it, and so I do. So there you have it, all the things I can come up with that I've experienced in my last 22 years of being a perfectionist. If you have any or all of these symptoms, you may or may not be a perfectionist. If so, welcome to the club. They have medicine for it, but I'm pretty sure most of it's illegal. Well, anyways, I hope you were as entertained with myself as I was. That's the show. Bring in the dancing Aggies.